This is the Leitmotif and Movement Podcast, a father and son's journey into the vast worlds of music. I am your host, Mike Ficklin, and joining me on this epic musical journey is my son,
Michael Ficklin.
This show is dedicated to the discussion of music and introducing Michael to music from the past and present. We will mainly be discussing the genres of rock, hard rock, and heavy metal. We will also, from time to time, dive into film and video game scores. And we'll sprinkle in some surprises along the way. Michael, what have you been listening to this week?
I have been listening to the assignment, and I think just the assignment.
So you haven't listened to anything else other than what we're going to be talking about tonight?
Oh, I also listened to the 36 Crazy Fist album, I think this week. Also.
Haven't went out and tried to look for anything new, or went out and listened to any other of the Metallica records or anything like that?
No.
Any particular reason why?
No. It's just I'm lazy and I'm lazy and do not want to switch.
Tisk tisk. That's the whole point of doing the show, man. It's so that you hear stuff that you like and you want to go out and explore and try and find more.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been listening to quite a bit of stuff this week. Actually, over the last couple of weeks, I've continued to dig in to the Amorphous library. I am almost completely caught up with them. The most recent stuff that I listened to was the live version of Queen of Time, and I really enjoyed that. Although I gotta say, I really wish that the recording would have featured more of the crowd in the background. This has felt like listening to just this regular studio version of the record. And the band, to its great credit, the band, the vocals, everything sounds remarkably just like the record. But when I go for a live music experience, I want for there to be some subtle differences. I want there to be, those little flaws and stuff like that maybe only the band notices, that the fans don't really notice because the musicians are good at covering up and stuff. This just felt like listening to a studio record. They had the crowd completely phased out, so you couldn't hear the crowd. I don't know. I've heard other records that are like that, other live records that are like that, and it doesn't feel live to me. It just feels like a studio recording. But aside from that, I mean, the other stuff that I've listened to from them, including the live stuff, in my opinion, has been pretty fantastic. There are other live records that I've listened to did have that live feel to it. It didn't have that live in the studio feel. I also listened to some newer stuff that came out last week. Listened to the Amity Afflictions Let the Ocean Take Me redux. And the reason why it's a redux is this is a re-recording of this record. It features a reworked version of the song Give It All because the original version was plagiarized. The band's guitarist apparently plagiarized the song, and it ended up resulting in that guitarist getting ousted from the band.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so the band went in and completely re-recorded this record, and they redid Give It All, gave it a different feel, pretty much reworked it from the ground up. And they also reworked some of the other songs and stuff to give it some slight differences from the original recording. I thought it was pretty solid. I enjoyed listening to it. They are I would just call them straight up metal. I wouldn't necessarily put them in like a progressive sound. They're more just straight up heavy metal.
So, out of curiosity, what was like plagiarized?
the music itself, not the lyrics, but the music itself was plagiarized, apparently. I don't know the whole story. I've just caught bits and pieces of it. So there was some drama over Give It All, the music from Give It All being plagiarized.
Did they say what from?
If they did, I didn't see it.
I assume on Twitter.
It actually wouldn't. Well, what I saw about that actually came from Reddit. So,
normally it's Twitter.
I used to really enjoy Twitter. I can't do Twitter hardly at all anymore, and I'm not going to get into that on the show. I'll stay out of that for the show. Something else I listened to is a new single from Black Map called Disintegrate. I haven't seen an album announcement, but it was nice to hear new material from these guys. This band features guitarist Mark Engels from Dredge. It's a solid hard rock song. They're a much different band than Dredge. Dredge is more artsy, more prog rock focused. These guys are more straight up hard rock. It's really good stuff. This song was excellent. It was awesome to hear something new from them. I also listened to Interloper's new record, A Forgotten Loss. It's straight up progressive metal bliss. I really need to give this one another listen because my first listen was super enjoyable. I'm sure I'm going to pick up on more on subsequent listens. I just didn't have time to give it another listen this week. But what I remember of it was fantastic. It goes hard. It goes so hard. So I highly recommend this one if you're a fan of the prog metals. Another album I checked out was an album from someone that I didn't expect to be listening to. An artist by the name of Chris Daughtry put out an album called Shock to the System Part 1, which obviously would lead you to believe that there's going to be a Part 2 eventually.
Maybe a Part 3.
Maybe. I haven't really enjoyed much music from Daughtry in the past. He really got his name as a former American Idol competitor. So a lot of the material that I had heard from him post-Idol had this kind of pop radio-friendly feel, and it just... it's okay. I wouldn't outright call it bad or anything like that, because it's not. It's just not my cup of tea, right? So I heard an interview on a recent episode of Talk is Jericho. Do you know what Talk is Jericho is?
Nope.
Do you know who Chris Jericho is? Pro wrestler Chris Jericho.
The name sounds familiar.
Okay, so Chris Jericho has his own podcast, and he actually also performs in a rock band called Fozzy. But anyway, he does interviews with wrestlers and musicians and such. And I heard an interview with Chris Daughtry not too long ago on that show. And in it, he's talking about going a little harder. So I decided to give this a shot, and I wasn't disappointed. It actually goes a lot harder than what I expected it was. It does have some poppier elements here and there, but it just feels so much heavier than a lot of his previous material. There's a bit of darkness to it, and it's awesome. Yeah.
So what you mean by like poppy and heavy? Is it like Periphery type?
Yes and no. When I say poppier elements, there's like some synthesizers, and the tempo or the beat to the song feels a little more upbeat. It's not. It's definitely not. It doesn't feel like a hard rock song if that makes any sense. It feels something that's more you would hear on like the local pop radio station. And I'm not disparaging Chris for that, right? Because that's what sells. Yeah, and I'm going to squash this right now. There is so much talk about especially in the heavy metal community,
Mhm.
about this concept of selling out. I despise this concept. I promise you, not one band that puts out music just wants to be destitute for the rest of their lives. They don't want to be poor. They want you to hear their music.
Mhm.
They want to make music or money doing what they love.
Mhm.
Every band that signs a deal to a record label has in some way, quote unquote, sold out.
Mhm.
They sold out when they signed the contract. In all likelihoods, in some cases, they sold out before you ever even heard of them.
Mhm.
And they did it because they want to make money. They want to make a living doing what they love.
Mhm.
This idea of selling out is just ridiculous. My definition of selling out would be somebody or a band that goes in, they had a sound, a certain sound that they were known for. We'll just say a heavy metal sound, for instance. And then they turn around their sound, and all of a sudden they sound like Beyonce. To me, that's selling out. That's selling out the soul of what your music was, just so you can make a quick buck. That, to me, is completely the idea of selling out. Just because somebody signed a recording contract and put out a record on a big label so they could get some radio airplay and start to try to find an audience, that doesn't mean they sold out to me. Sorry.
The thing that comes to mind when I hear sell out is like they got bought out. That's what comes to mind for me.
Yeah, this idea of selling out, I think, really started in like the early 90s for some reason or another. I don't know why, but it did, and it's just persisted. And I would love for it to just get squashed, because I promise you, there is not one band out there that's putting out music that doesn't want to do this for a living and not have to get a real job, right? They want to do this. They want to have their music heard. They want to make money from it. That's not selling out. That's the American dream.
That's the American dream.
Straight up.
That's a lot of information to take in one time.
Well, we can move on off of that. We'll move over. I also listened to the new EP from Serj Tankian, formerly of System of a Down. His new EP is called Foundations. It's a solid rockin' album, and it made me wish for a new System of a Down record, which is never going to happen, mainly just because the members don't get along, and Serj has straight up said that he doesn't want to do any more music like that anymore, like his heart's not in it. So a lot of the stuff that he had been doing since System of a Down kind of went on this hiatus thing, has had kind of more of like a classical orchestral bent to it. Definitely different from what they were doing, the hard rock heavy metal stuff that they did in System of a Down, and it was a good change for him, right? It was just a way for him to flex different creative muscles. This is more. This EP was more of a hard rock album, and it was really good. It's the next best thing to having a new System of a Down record. Good guitar-driven rock and roll. Serj's unique vocal stylings never disappoint. He's got a very unique delivery, and I know that you've never heard him before, but we'll get to it eventually because I think you'll enjoy his unique vocals.
Is it like unique in which way?
I don't know how best to describe it. It's just the way that he sings. He's got he's just got a unique voice. When you hear him sing, you know it's him because there's very few, if anybody, that sounds like him.
Is he like higher on the...
Yeah, I don't know where I would put him on the scale, honestly. That's not my thing, that's your thing. You know a little bit more about that than I do. we'll eventually get to some System of a Down. The last thing that I listened to over the last couple of weeks here is the new single from Cincato. It's called Blossom.
Mm-hmm.
Cat is just an extremely talented guitar player, and this is just another gorgeous piece in his discography. He's fantastic. I do highly recommend Cincato to those that enjoy other talented guitarists like Pliny.
Mm-hmm.
Just smooth, outstanding guitar. Absolutely outstanding guitar work. Smooth. I almost feel like there's almost like a little bit of a Latin influence to his guitar playing and stuff. It's interesting stuff, and it's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I think you would enjoy it.
A little off topic here. So I was walking to the bus today for after school, after going to my locker, and I'm walking down the hall, and normally this kid is playing his guitar. He has a ukulele, and he sits out there and plays it as everybody's walking by. I think he's a car rider, and
he brings that to school with him?
Yeah. And he was playing I can't think of the song name, but he had people singing with him.
Was it a well-known song?
Sweet Home Alabama.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know that song. Were you singing along with him?
No.
Do you know that song? Or do you just
Yes.
know it because you've heard him play it before?
No, I know.
Okay.
He had somebody singing with him, and he was singing.
Do you like that song?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we'll have to look into finding some other stuff for you to listen to that's in that vein. I think you'd probably like some other stuff from the Leonard Skinner library. I personally am not a big Leonard Skinner fan, but maybe we can find you something. Anything else you want to talk about in the what we've been listening to segment here?
Nope.
No? All right. We're going to move into one of our favorite segments on the show, The Art of Discovery. Herein, we listen to music from some fantastic unsigned independent artists, and we've got an outstanding selection of songs for you again for this episode. We're going to kick things off with a group called Infina, and this is their brand spanking new single, Follow the Bunny, which was just released earlier this week.
talk of blood and slaves put me off my pee.
The entire world is falling to ruin. For Cheshires off his teeth.
And again, that was Infina with their new single, Follow the Bunny. They describe themselves as non-genre polyamorous rap band.
What?
Yep. That is how they describe themselves. I feel like they kind of have a bit of a nu metal influence because nu metal was very much heavy metal music combined with rap, especially the early nu metal artists. Bands like Korn or Limp Bizkit. So I feel a little bit of... Yeah, you've not heard of any of those guys before. So, but that's what this kind of reminds me a bit of. I love the way they describe themselves, though.
Non-genre.
The musicianship is great.
It is.
Yeah. It just... I love the way they describe themselves. It's very funny. I was trying to figure out where these guys are from, and I couldn't find out here, but I do recommend checking out some of their other stuff as well. They've got a lot of other material out there. I use Tidal for streaming, and I think all of their material is on there, and so I'm certain it's on Spotify and other places for you to check out. Good stuff.
It's normally on basically every other music.
Yeah. So this next song is from a band called, I believe it's pronounced Charonyx, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's Charonyx, but I think it's Charonyx. They're a progressive metal with thrash and death metal leanings, and this is their song Structure of Demise from their Persistent Soul EP. And that, again, was Structure of Demise by Charonyx. And that is from the Persistent Soul EP. It's the first track from the Persistent Soul EP. And I did find out where they're from. They are actually from right here, Michael. They're from Indianapolis.
Actually?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's cool as hell. We're going to have to go see if we can find them and see when they're playing live sometime. We'll have to go check them out. Did you like the song?
I don't know about it. I kind of liked it.
Yeah? All right. And the last song we have for you from this segment is a song from a band called Across Oceans. They are a Berlin-based progressive metal band, and this is their single Bloodfuel.
Do you feel this motion speeding
And again, that was Across Oceans with their single Bloodfuel. They are a progressive metal band out of Berlin, Germany. What'd you think of that one, Michael?
We traveled to Berlin now.
Like to go see them live too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome. I've listened to some of their other stuff as well, and it's all really good stuff.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty good.
Yep, this is we had a really solid lineup this week. So again, we want to thank Infina, Charonyx, and Across Oceans for allowing us to play a song from each of them on this episode's Art of Discovery segment. And if you want to be featured on our next Art of Discovery segment, feel free to reach out to us either through our social media accounts or via our email. You can find all of that information in the show notes every week. And we'd love to check out your music and give you a shout and possibly play some of it on the show. Anything else on this, Michael?
Other than thank you to the bands that allow us to listen their music on this podcast.
All right. Now we're going to move into this episode's main topic. We're breaking down Alice Cooper's 1973 release, $1 Billion Babies. A little bit of a note before we get into the album here. Alice Cooper wanted to be the first rock villain in a world full of rock and roll heroes.
What?
Yeah. I've heard an interview with him where he actually brings this up. He wanted to be the first rock villain. And to that end, many of his songs are meant to be, or purposely meant to be shocking or edgy. And for the time period, they certainly were. There was never any real malicious intent meant behind it. The lyrics are mostly written with kind of a certain macabre, cabaret, tongue-in-cheek sense of humor. However, I could see how some of this stuff could be seen as offensive by today's standards. Yeah. But I would certainly like to hope that most are going to take this with the intended tongue-in-cheek sense of humor.
Yeah. Back in the day, you could be way more edgy than you can be now.
Well, I also think that just times change, right? Certain subjects are a sore point for people these days that it wasn't so sore back then. So, again, with that understanding, we'll go ahead and start diving into this. $1 Billion Babies is the 6th studio album from Alice Cooper. Was released in March of 1973 by Warner Brother Records. At the time of its release, it became Alice Cooper's best-selling record, hitting number 1 on the album charts in the United States and the United Kingdom, and was also certified platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America. Songs were recorded for the album in both the state of Connecticut and London, England, with some pretty interesting lyrical topics, which we'll get into as we go through each of the songs here. Michael, before we start diving into this, did you know anything about Alice Cooper before?
No.
Okay. Had you, to your knowledge, ever heard anything from Alice Cooper before?
No.
No? Okay.
All I've known is you've talked about this album a few times, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So, getting into the actual album breakdown itself here. The album opens up with a song called Hello Hooray. Michael, what'd you think about this song? Now, why I think Michael was laughing about this is because a couple of nights ago, I was coming up behind him and screaming, "Hello, hooray!" in his ear over and over again. So,
I don't think I have really anything to say except for coming into this album, I didn't know anything about Alice Cooper at all, and it has been a eye-opening experience. I kind of like this album.
So, Hello Hooray is one of my favorite opening tracks on any album. It's kind of got this, I don't know how, I guess it's kind of got a bit of a feel of cabaret.
What does that mean? Cabaret.
So, cabaret, there doesn't seem to be a consensus on what exactly makes the cabaret genre, but some of the things that go into it are typically it's performances that are made up of songs punctuated by the performer telling stories about their life. A given show could include stand-up comedy, spoken word, dance numbers, recitations, and variety performances. So I kind of get that vibe off of this song. It's just kind of fun, and I read somewhere that this is not an original Alice Cooper song. It was originally written by Canadian singer-songwriter Rolf Kempf and was previously recorded by Judy Collins. And the band had wanted their version of the song to sound like Alice Cooper meets cabaret, so I was kind of right about my defining of that. It's just a fun song, and it kind of prepares you for what's to come. He's welcoming you into the show. You're in for it. There's a really fun guitar solo before the song closes up. A lot of fantastic musicianships. I love Alice and his really enthusiastic shouting of "Hello, hooray!
Hello, hooray!
Let the show begin." Yeah, I love this song. Anything else to say on this song?
Nope.
All right. So moving on to track number 2. This one is one of those songs that, based on title alone, might be one of those songs that people today would probably find pretty offensive. The song is called Raped in Friesen. And it's a really creepy song about being stalked, and
I already get the creepy vibes.
Yeah.
It's based off the title.
Yeah. I can see why it would be triggering or offensive. And it probably was offensive or triggering even for back in the day, but it would definitely be one of those things that if it was recorded today probably wouldn't go over very well. Musically, it's a really upbeat number despite the dark lyrical themes. I enjoy the song mainly just for the catchy music. The lyrical subject matter, not so much.
I feel like the other band members were not filled in on the actual meaning of the song.
Well, see, that's kind of the thing. You know, he's intentionally trying to be edgy.
Yeah.
The band was trying to be edgy. Mm-hmm. So I know you've never seen it, but I have. Alice puts on this fantastic stage show where he does a lot of theatrical things on stage. Things like he beheads himself on stage with a guillotine. It's meant to be kind of equal parts shocking and silly and stuff. He wants you to enjoy yourself, right? Mm-hmm. But I can certainly see with a subject matter as dark as this that some people may not enjoy it. Mm-hmm. They may not be able to find a way to enjoy it, and I could not blame them if they felt that way, you know. Any thoughts on this song at all?
Kind of gave all my thoughts other than what I said, and I'm going to add some. I feel like for how dark some of these songs are, they're just upbeat for some reason.
Yeah, the lyrics are kind of dark, but the songs the actual music itself tends to be these really upbeat tunes and stuff that you wouldn't expect to go with such dark lyrical themes. Yeah.
You think it'd be like some emo guitar.
Anything else on this one?
No.
All right. So we'll move on to track 3, which is called Elected. I love this song, and it's so appropriate for the time that we're in right now. Alice delivers this kind of sarcastic and darkly humorous look at running for public office. The music with the additions of the horns and the almost kind of marching band style definitely reminds me of seeing like these classic films or cartoons where you would see like a candidate running for some sort of office and they would bring like a marching band with them on the campaign trail. That's totally what this song reminds me of. I love Alice's lyrics, especially at the end of it where he's going over how he understands there's problems all over the place, but he closes out the song with, "We've got all these problems, but I don't really care." That totally reeks of our politicians in current time, right? It just this song is still appropriate for today. Did you like this song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. After hearing what it's about, it definitely fits the time period we're in, especially in the coming months.
Yeah, with the election coming up next year. Yeah, or not next year, next
year.
month. Yeah, next month. What did you think of the music on this particular track?
I feel like it all came together.
The music almost feels so like they're celebrating something already. Like he's already won something, you know? And again, I appreciate kind of the tongue-in-cheek dry humor that he has about it and stuff. This is a fun song. It's not one of those deeply offensive songs. It's just really him just being honest about politics.
Was there presidential election the year this album came out?
I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Because it would make sense if the reason why he wrote this or some type of election was happening for public office.
Yeah, I don't think so. An election wouldn't have happened on an odd year. It would have happened on an even year.
Didn't it come out in 1974?
This album came out in 1973.
Oh, I thought it was 74.
No.
Never mind.
Any other thoughts on Elected?
Nope.
All right. Moving right along to the title track on the record, and this one is my favorite song on the record. This is $1 Billion Babies. I love the intro to the song. I love the little drum solo, and then they kick in with the guitar, and then the bass follows that. And that intro guitar riff is really catchy. In fact, the guitar riff through the entire song is really, really hooky. There's a really outstanding guitar solo in the song. Alice's vocal delivery on this song is creepy, and it is so well done. I love, he kind of does two different vocal styles on this. Especially during the chorus, he's doing two different vocal styles. One's kind of got this sickly, sweet kind of thing going on, and then the other side of it is this kind of dark, creepy thing going on. It's awesome, and it works really, really well. The way that he's kind of weaving between that kind of sickly, sweet lullaby style and his regular tone, it's so good.
It's a song that I could just recognize by just hearing the first part of it.
Are you talking about the drum intro to it? Yeah. Such a good song.
You can there's something with this album that some of the songs you can tell the difference between, and some of them you can't. This song is one that you can, because it has a whole entire different beat than any of the other songs on this album.
I think a lot of the music on this album, it varies from track to track.
Yeah.
I think they do a good job of keeping the music interesting because they're doing different things on each track. But this is one of the standout ones.
Yeah.
This is just a really good straight up hard rock song.
Something I realized with Alice's vocals, he has like he can become like a sweet tone and then just like the most creepy.
Yeah, he gets this kind of creepy tone to his voice sometimes, especially when he's getting into the darker, more macabre stuff that he... Yeah. And the chorus to the song is definitely really creepy. The stuff about being afraid that I think he's talking about a doll, and he's afraid that the doll's head's gonna fall off in his hands and stuff. It's just creepy.
Who thinks of that?
Fun song. Definitely one of the better songs on the record, in my opinion. Anything else on this one, Michael?
Nope.
All right. Moving on to track 5, which is called Unfinished Sweet. And this song is about going to the dentist.
Oh.
I think just about everybody at some point in life fears going to the dentist, right?
Yeah.
This is another one of those really catchy songs, but Alice does a really good job about explaining that he's taken a nightmarish trip to the dentist, but he's using these great sing-songy vocal hooks to bring you in. It's like these poppy vocal hooks. The song is about his, nightmarish trip to the dentist to get some decayed teeth extracted due to eating too many sweets. And again, the guitar work on the song is really well done. At the end of the song, he's talking about being high on laughing gas because the dentist gave him laughing gas before he worked on his teeth. And Alice is talking about being high on laughing gas. He's talking about coming down from the high and still seeing spies everywhere. And there's a piece of guitar work towards the end of the song where they do this little musical allusion to the James Bond theme, which is a nice touch with Alice talking about spies. And I know you've never seen any of the James Bond movies, but they're definitely doing a riff on the James Bond theme towards the end of the song there. Did you like this song? Or did you know what it was about when you heard it? No? Did you like this song when you heard it, though?
Recalling memory? Yes. I think I did.
Any thoughts on this?
Nope. Other than this album is very interesting.
Lots of sarcasm.
Yes.
Lots of tongue-in-cheek humor. And I think you do have to keep that in mind when you're listening to anything from Alice Cooper. You gotta take it with a grain of salt. He's definitely doing this stuff to be cheeky. He's having fun. So the next song on the record is No More Mr. Nice Guy. This is a radio staple classic for Alice Cooper. This might be, in fact, the first song that I ever remember hearing from Alice Cooper on the radio. I love the lyrics to this song. This song actually has some really genuinely funny material on it. He's basically talking about how he used to be this really good dude doing nice things for everybody, and then at some point having to deal with people turned him against people, and he started not being so nice anymore. This song has a really catchy guitar riff, and then it almost kind of has this sort of doo-wop thing going on in the background. My favorite part of the song is the last verse when he's talking about going to church disguised incognito, and the preacher punches him in the nose when he recognizes him. Did you like this song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like basically everything because you got Alice Cooper doing some sketch stuff and then sarcasm, and then you just got a normal people playing instruments, and it just fits all together somehow. I don't know, but it does.
You can, with this song in particular, you can really see why it took off on the radio. It's got that novelty humor thing about it. And the music's really good. It's really catchy. Such a good song. Probably my second favorite song on the record. Anything else on this one, Michael? Nope. All right. The next song, track 7, is called Generation Landslide. I know you don't know the band, but this song really feels like it could have been written and performed by a band called The Who. They are a British rock band, and this totally feels like a song that The Who would have done. Lyrically, it feels like Alice is delivering kind of a sarcastic look at the counterculture of the time. Perhaps even a look at the beginning of the end for this idea of the nuclear family.
Oh.
Lots of solid guitar work again on the song. It's not my favorite song on the record, but it's still catchy. So much of this album is it's hard to forget about it because the music is so catchy, even if the lyrics don't really catch on with you. Do you like this song? This is the one that opens up with kind of the acoustic guitar intro and stuff.
Yeah, I like that. You said something about the nuclear family. So, a couple years back in 2020, this is I'm going a little bit off topic. We're going into the gaming community. So, I have been getting into Call of Duty since you let me, and I really like playing zombies. And there's a Call of Duty Zombies YouTuber. So Treyarch is a developer for Activision, makes the Call of Duty games. They were doing like little Easter eggs to figure out for the new game that came out that year, which was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And Treyarch had sent this YouTuber the wrong slides, and it was of the nuclear family. And Treyarch kept on messaging him saying to burn him. Burn the slides. So now it's a staple in the community, and there's like a symbol of that meme in the game now. It's like a banner.
So they're wanting to burn the idea of the nuclear family?
They wanted him to like get rid of the slides. That it was an unaccidental sent.
Funny. Do you have anything else on Generation Landslide as far as the song's concerned? Did you like the song?
Same thing with instrumental. I really like the acoustic guitar. I think it really fit in. But nothing else.
Okay. So moving on to track number 8. This is a song called Sick Things. This one might compete for one of the creepiest songs on the record. There's just this... it is genuinely creepy vibes all around on this song.
I already get creepy vibes from the name.
Yeah. Alice gives this really dark, creepy vocal delivery. Almost like he's portraying himself as like this demonic entity that is seducing the youth to come and worship him. He might be given like a bit of a tongue-in-cheek commentary on how surprised the band was with their success, given this sort of, villainous outside role that they like to portray on stage. Creepy song. Just a creepy song. Musically, I don't feel like there's much to write home about musically on this. It's all about Alice and the way he's delivering the vocals and the lyrics and stuff. It's just...
I think it was like a more Alice-targeted song. It is to show off him. It kind of feels like...
Did you get the same vibe that I got? Just that really chilling, creepy vibe off of the song? Yeah. Yeah. Just... It's not. It probably would rank among my bottom songs on the record, but it's still quintessential Alice. And again, it's him trying to push the boundaries, trying to push the envelope, trying to be intentionally creepy and macabre, and that's exactly what this song is. Anything else on this one from you, Michael? Did you actually like this song? And it's okay if you did.
I think this is the one that I didn't really like because it was more focused on Alice, and I get he's trying to portray a villainous role, but it just didn't do it for me.
Okay, fair enough. Next track on the record is a really short song. It's called Marianne. And before we get into this is another one of those songs that I feel like it probably wouldn't go over well today. Musically, again, it feels very cabaret. It's really short. There's really not much lyrics, not much singing from Alice on it. But it's a kind of this goofy little love song where he's talking about, you don't know what he's talking about until the twist at the end of the song. The whole time, he's singing, he's serenading this Marianne, talking about how he's in love with this Marianne, and then the twist at the end of the song is that he says that he thought Marianne was his man. So it almost feels like this song is about falling in love with someone that's transgender. I think based on the twist at the end of the song, my guess is that this Marianne went from being a man to a woman because he mentions Marianne was his. He thought Marianne was his man, so I'm guessing he was transitioning between or from being a man to a woman. So for the time period that this song was put out in, this probably was pretty shocking. And intentionally done so because, again, that's what Alice Cooper was all about, was trying to be an edgelord, right? So I could, again, see why this might be offensive or problematic by today's standards.
A lot.
Yeah. Interestingly, I read that this song was originally written to be an anti-Vietnam War protest song.
It did
but
come
they
out that way. Like that.
yeah, they ended up rewriting it because the band didn't want to go political. So
Fair.
So there you go.
Understandable.
Even with the song Elected, it's not particularly political because he's not really digging into the issues from one side or the other. He's just talking about how he wants to be elected and how he doesn't really give a crap about the problems in the country and stuff like that. He's not really choosing a side, right?
Yeah. He's not saying he's like Republican or Democrat.
Right, exactly. He's not diving into the actual issues here. So take this one for what it's worth. It's meant to be a silly love song, and I really don't think that there's any sort of malicious intent from Alice on this song. It was just meant to kind of be this silly song with this twist at the end. But I would not begrudge anyone that said that they were offended by it, though. So
honestly, I would prefer an anti-Vietnam song because of the history geek inside of me.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Would have liked to heard the Alice Cooper protest song. Do you have any thoughts on the song, Michael?
No.
No? Nothing you want to say?
No.
All right, so then we finish up with track 10 with a song called I Love the Dead.
Creepy. This is a song that stand out to me.
Yeah.
Because all I be hearing is something about the dead.
Yeah. So this is a tongue planted firmly in cheek song about necrophilia. Do you know that term, necrophilia?
Not at all.
It's basically loving dead things. There's some really dark, cheeky stuff about being in love with cadavers and dead things, which is just disturbing. Despite how creepy and dark this song actually is, the chorus is catchy. It's so catchy. The music to the song kind of has this really disturbing classic horror vibe to it. But during the chorus, it's got this easy listening love song vibe. Alice was going for that shocking finale, and they succeeded.
Yeah, I didn't finally catch on to the song the first time until it said something about the dead, and I was like, what?
That part where he sings about he loves when their dead eyes look up at him.
Yeah.
Like, oh, creepy. So creepy. Gives me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it. And I know that was his whole intended purpose, right? But he definitely succeeds on being that rock villain with the song.
How does the creepiest song have the most catchiest chorus on this whole entire album?
He's got that gift for taking this creepy subject matter and putting like a pop spin on it so that it comes across as not being so creepy, even though it is. You know what it actually reminds me of? And you haven't heard this band before, but there is a band that was popular in the 90s called Everclear. And they had this tendency to write these really depressing, dark lyrics and stuff, but they surrounded it with this really upbeat pop music to go with it. And the way that their singer, Art Alexakis, delivered the vocals and stuff was always this really kind of upbeat pop delivery, despite how dark the lyrics actually were. So that's That's what this completely reminds me of. Any other final thoughts on I Love the Dead?
Say some. I think I've heard you say things about Everclear, but back to the song. It just gives off the like spooky and like horror vibe.
So yeah, I mean, they come off of this really silly love song with the twist into I Love the Dead. Creepy. Just creepy.
Everything comes off creepy on this album.
Intentionally so. All right, Michael. Time to give our overall album ratings on this. Give me your overall thoughts before giving your ranking here.
I like the sarcasm and how he finds a way to fit in sarcasm and like this spooky vibe, and like it kind of feels like on a few of the songs he's like stalking people. I don't know why. It just gives me that feeling.
Got that creepy stalker feeling.
You just feel like someone's in the shadows just stalking you.
In the creepiest way possible, but with the poppiest music in the background.
The description of this album. Spooky and scary, but great music. I think I may have to give this a perfect score.
Ooh, going with the perfect score on this one. Even despite the creepy factor, you're going with the perfect score. Now, is that because of how he's able to blend that pop sensibility with the creepy factor?
And also, it didn't feel like there was any filler songs, really.
No filler songs for you? Good for you. You thought that they all just kind of went together well and stuff? They sequenced it well? Yeah. Yep. Good for you. So, yeah, this is such a great album. For me, this is peak Alice Cooper. Equal parts catchy and creepy, like we've been saying. He successfully captures that shock rock villain vibe. A lot of dark, tongue-in-cheek humor that's fused with some really macabre subject matter, and it makes you chuckle at inappropriate times. It's kind of like watching The Dark Knight and chuckling at some of the stuff that the Joker's doing, even though it's really inappropriate. He's making you laugh at inappropriate things at inappropriate times.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what this does. It makes you laugh despite the inappropriateness of some of the subject matter.
It kind of seems like you gave the description or similarity of The Dark Knight. It kind of feels like Alice Cooper is kind of trying to make people laugh, and then
by the same token, creep them out.
Yeah, and then the Joker in The Dark Knight, he is like making he took his role like over the top.
I think for the Joker, he sees a certain dark, macabre sense of humor to the way that the world works, and he thinks he's the only one that's in on the joke. So when he does something heinous and does something funny, or he thinks it's funny because it's only him seeing the joke in it, but he makes you laugh at things you probably shouldn't be laughing at, but just because of his reactions. And so, yeah. I'm going to give this 4.5 out of 5. And the only reason I deduct any points at all is mainly just because of how I don't feel like this would hold up with a modern audience if it was recorded today.
I do agree with you on that.
there's just it's really only 2 songs that I think are problematic.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you're able to sit down and listen to this and understand that it was meant to be shocking for the time period
and be shady,
then I think if you understand that he has no real malicious intent behind anything that he's doing on this, then I don't think that it's so problematic. But I do understand that there are going to be those that can't move past that. So it does get 4.5 out of 5 for me. It is my favorite Alice Cooper album by far. So peak Alice Cooper for me. And that actually brings us to our question for the audience this week. What's your favorite track on Billion Dollar Babies and why? I actually posed this question on Threads earlier today to try to drum up some responses here before the show, and I did get one response. Mike on Metal says, I'd have to go with No More Mr. Nice Guy on this one. I was a Cooper fan when Megadeth covered this song, but hadn't yet gone back to his older stuff, so their cover was my gateway to the older Alice Cooper albums. Thank you, Megadeth, for introducing me to some killer classic metal. And I know you don't know who Megadeth is, but they are one of the big thrash bands. Them and Metallica, Slayer, Anthrax, the big 4 thrash bands.
Are they a cover / original band or?
No, they're all original music. So their leader, Dave Mustaine, he was one of the original guitar players in Metallica, and they ended up ousting him, and he started his own band.
Oh.
So he plays guitar, and he does the vocals for Megadeth. We'll get into some of that at some point. I think you'll enjoy it, especially with how much you enjoyed Metallica. All right, so moving on to our next segment. This is our Can't Wait segment, where we're going to talk a little bit about the music that's coming soon that we're looking forward to.
Don't even.
Michael, I am mandated and bound to have to ask you this. Do you have anything that you know of that you're looking forward to, sir? Your silence speaks volumes.
You already know it.
I know you've mentioned in previous episodes that you were looking forward to the new Opeth record, but I think that's the only thing you've mentioned that you were looking forward to. I'm taking it that still stands. Okay. So here over the next couple of weeks, there's some music that's coming out that I'm looking forward to. On October 18th, Alice in Chains guitarist Jerry Cantrell is releasing another solo record. It's going to be called I Want Blood. Looking forward to hearing that. Swallow the Sun is putting out their new record, Shining. Swallow the Sun is a progressive metal act. Looking forward to hearing that entire album. I've heard one of the singles off of it and really enjoyed it. And then on October 25th, Better Lovers is releasing their new record, Highly Irresponsible. Looking forward to hearing that one. And also looking forward to hearing the new Devin Townsend record, Power Node. It is difficult to classify the genre that Devin Townsend is. I think there's an argument that could be made that he is a progressive metal guy, but he does so much other stuff than that. It's really avant-garde.
Is he like a mix of like a whole bunch of stuff, or?
He incorporates so many different genres into his music. It really just kind of stands alone on its own, and it's always really engaging. It's good stuff. I think you would enjoy it. We'll have to get into some Devin Townsend sometime. I think you'll like it. And even though this isn't necessarily something that's coming soon, I just heard it announced today that Arch Enemy announced their new album, Blood Dynasty. It's due to come out on March 28th of next year. But the reason why I'm bringing it up here and now is because I I believe, way back on our first episode that we had listened to a new single that they had put out. And I, at the time, didn't know that they were going to be announcing a new record, but they did announce today that the new record is on the way, and I am definitely looking forward to hearing that. Okay, so our next segment is for listener feedback, and we didn't receive any listener feedback aside from just the one comment from Mike on Metal, which we thank him for, on responding to what the favorite track was on the $1 Billion Babies record here. So we will move on into our final segment, which is titled Michael's Journey, Discovering a Song from the Past. This week, Michael was assigned to check out the song Runaround Sue by Dion. Michael, what did you think of this song?
I thought at the start when I first listened to it that it was going to be a very slow song because it starts off slow and then it just goes. Then it goes like extremely. Doesn't even feel like it's like a very long song. It just blows by fast. I like how they introduce the instruments like as soon as it went fast and all of the beat.
Yeah, it kind of starts out in kind of like a slow ballad, and then it gets into the doo-wop.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that's called with when he's got the background vocalists doing their thing in the background. That's doo-wop music, and I don't think you've ever heard any of that kind of stuff before, have you?
Nope.
But it's so catchy.
Yeah.
It's super, super catchy. So Runaround Sue is a rock and roll song that's kind of done in that doo-wop style. It was a U.S. #1 Hot 100 hit for Dion in the year 1961. He had written this song with Ernie Mariska, and it tells the story of a disloyal lover. And this song actually ended up ranking number 351 on Rolling Stone's list of the top 500 greatest songs of all time.
Wow.
And Dion actually ended up inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2002 for this song. Apparently Dion likes to change his story about who this song was actually written for. It looks like he's told a few different stories. Looks like the last one that he told was that the song took its title from his wife's name. His wife's name was Susan, but I don't know that the actual subject matter of the song was about her. I hope it wasn't about her. So did you catch on to what the song is actually about?
It kind of seems like someone cheated in the relationship.
You got it. He's singing about a girl that he was in love with, and she was running around and cheating on him with all of his buddies and everybody on the city block and stuff. Hence the name Runaround Sue. This song is so catchy. I love the song. Just catchy as hell. I enjoy his voice. I enjoy the kind of the hand clapping rhythm and the doo-wop. It works so well. Definitely one of my all-time favorite classic pop songs. Do you have any further thoughts?
Nope.
No? Nothing?
I said all my thoughts. I came to mine.
So what was your rating on this song, Michael?
I know the past scores for I just like rating them.
So you gave Marvin Gaye's What's Going On 5 out of 5. You gave Stevie Wonder's Superstition 5 out of 5. You gave The Temptations' My Girl 4 out of 5. You gave Frank Sinatra's It Was a Very Good Year 5 out of 5.
And I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5.
Awesome. Enjoyed it that well?
Mm-hmm.
Would you listen to it again?
Yes.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
It's just really, really hooky.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time I ever heard it, I think I had heard it on the radio in my grandma's kitchen. It was playing on her radio and stuff. And I caught on to the chorus and couldn't help myself but singing along with it and stuff. Just a fun song. Glad you enjoyed this one. All right, so next up for us on your journey, you are going to listen to Aretha Franklin's Respect. Have you heard this song before? No? You're in for a treat. I think you're going to dig this one too.
If I have, I just don't know the title or the artist.
I bet you've heard it before. You just don't realize it. It's a really popular song. And for our main subject on our next episode, as voted on by our Threads listeners, we are going to be covering Tool's 1996 release, Anima. I can't wait to discuss this with you. There's a lot of really good music on this, and there's a lot of stuff that we can get into about it, so I think you're really going to dig this one. All right, and with that said, we do want to hear from you. We will read your emails and messages on the show. We have only one request: keep them clean. There are several ways to contact us. You can email us at lightmovepod@gmail.com. You can also reach us on several social media platforms such as Facebook, X, Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads. Details on how to connect with us are in the show notes on each episode.
If you like the show, subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting platform and share with your friends and family. We are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and a variety of other platforms. We are also now on YouTube. Can't find us on your chosen platform? Shoot us a message and let us know. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. This helps us to be found on the algorithm. Make them good and we'll read them on the air. Are you in a band and you'd like us to check you out and possibly drop a recommendation on the show? Shoot us a message. We'd love to check you out and give you a shout.
We'd like to thank you very much for listening to the Light Motif and Movement podcast. Take care and enjoy music.